Everyone get out!
Hello tankers and tankettes, welcome to a light tank replay, and this is kind of unusual in its, well, it's going to be unusual anyway, and for me the most unusual thing about this was the fact that I'm in my M5 Stuart and I'm top tier, and this like never happens ever. This is one of the reasons why I'm showing you this replay, but it's not the only reason. If that was it, then it would be a pretty boring replay if it was a bad match otherwise, but there is going to be more to it than that. Now, the advantage of being top tier is the Stuart has, when you're top tier, it's got pretty damn amazing mobility amongst all the tier 4 tanks. And the only thing that can match it is pretty much another Stuart. And there is actually a Chinese Stuart on our side, and the other side has exactly the same, an M5 and an M5A1. So those those are another 3 players who got very, very lucky matchmaking and hopefully appreciated it. The downside is there are tank destroyers and Hetzers and Electos and Matildas and yeah, and artillery, all of which could be very, very ouchy. So there's also the fact that this is tier 4 and hardly anyone knows what they're doing when they get to tier 4 the first time round. So yeah, the teammates that are around me are not especially to be relied on either. So I'm being really very cautious. I mean, it might seem like, hooray, I'm in a Stuart in this matchup. This is amazing. I can just go nuts, but no. Actually, I have to be, if anything, more cautious than normal because I can't do what I would do at higher tiers, which is maybe go somewhere on the spot because depending on where I go, this is what I'm doing on this flank right now. I'm trying to detect enemies advancing along and fall back if necessary. But there's only 2 tanks backing me up. So it is far from ideal, even though this is actually amazing matchmaking for a Stuart. So what I'm doing at the moment is I'm basically, I've seen that LTP is where he is, and I'm waiting to see if, yeah, I'm waiting to see if that particular sacrificial goat actually spots anybody from the enemy team. Because, yeah, it's Redshire, and it's tier 4, and everyone's going to be camping fairly hard. And this is not the best sniper gun, but you never know, I might get lucky. So yeah, surely he's gonna get shot at by something, or but that depends what the enemy team's doing, and the enemy team is camping just as hard. So there's that enemy Stuart. Oh yeah, these are very, 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 very improbable shots. No, that was way off. I really need him to be stationary, and it looks like the gods answered my prayer because lo and behold, he was stationary. So yeah. What next? No, I can't really deal with the Hetzer frontally, and there's a DW2 there, so I think I'm gonna, no shots. I think I'm gonna pull back a little bit, maybe. I've probably got the best view range of anyone on the map at the moment. Although, actually, having said that, it depends what equipment the enemy Electo has, and I think the 38T's got a good view range as well, but unless they are carrying optics like I am, I've probably got the best view range. The same goes for the enemy Stuart, actually. They also might have had very good view range. So there's the other enemy Stuart, the American one, and he just got hetzed in the face, which is exactly what I don't want to happen to me. Unfortunately, that Hetzer firing revealed his position. He wasn't behind cover. He could get shot from the side, and was shot from the side a lot in a very short space of time. So I am being very cautious because I know there's stuff over there now. The LTP only revealed the enemy Stuart, and I did manage to nail that enemy Stuart, but even so, yeah. 4-6, and yeah, this team is basically all camping. He's not looking so good. I think, okay, I resigned myself to a loss at this point. It's just gonna be... I'll just hang around here and do some damage and then die, and that'll be it. Inevitable failure and doom. Because we've got... There's me, there's another Stuart, there's 2 tier 3s, and there's a Lee, and the other 3 are tank destroyers and an artillery. So, yeah, it's not like... and the other side's got 4 tank destroyers as well. It's not like they've got any incentive to go on the attack because tank destroyers are very fragile machines. Now here we go. I'm going to go back, look back on this side, see if I can get shots on the Lee. I know there was a Hetzer that side, so maybe there's a Hetzer I can detect. And I thought the Panzer 2G was going to come with me, but no. Changes his mind. Oh! Oh! Marder 38T. Oh, I can pen that! My crappy little derp gun isn't just going to be completely useless. I can actually pen the superstructure of that for full damage. So, oh, yes, there we go, that's lucky. Didn't take any damage from him, which is very nice. And that's one of the more dangerous enemy tank destroyers down, but there are still 2 Hetzers and an Electo. The Electo, it really depends what gun it's got, exactly how dangerous it's going to be. But I see a lot of them with the howitzers. I actually, when I played it, and I actually went and rebought it, my preference is for the 57mm gun, just because it's so accurate. I don't particularly like the short, the stumpy 32-pounder. The alpha is actually pretty damn good on that thing, but the penetration is... it's not great, not for a tank destroyer at tier 4. So, there's that Hetzer. And I thought, okay, I'll try Heat Shell, and then I thought, actually no, Heat Shell's probably just going to bounce off the front of a Hetzer. I might as well derp him and do a small amount of damage, if I get a chance to derp him. What I really want is for him to come over, and to be able to shoot him in the track, and then he's stranded, and my teammates shoot him. That's the plan. We're 6-7 now, so it's not total disaster. It's looking a bit less disastrous than it was. And we know where that Lee is, we know where the Hetzer is, so we know where 2 of the enemies are, we know there's a Hetzer in the north. Yeah, this actually, this is still maybe savable, maybe, but yeah, I'm assuming that Hetzer's got the dirt, because it's a pretty safe assumption to make. I don't want to just go over there and get blammed in the face, because that can one-shot me very easily. Doesn't even have to be firing heat ammo. The HE shells can and will obliterate an M5 Stuart, especially as it's got an open topped turret. Sue, where is he? I'm just trying to spot now. Panzer 2G is at the crossroads in the city there, and there's a badly damaged Hetzer behind me. The M8A1's even further back than him. And the M8A1's basically a Stuart with a better gun, pretty much. And the rest are all on the hill. So, yeah, that's the lead down. I know where the Hetzer is. Okay, maybe I won't go and flank that Hetzer, because that Matilda would make very short work of me. So, what to do? Consider my options. Don't want to get Hetzed. Don't want to get Matilda'd. Those are both totally verbs, adjectives, adverbs. I can't even remember. But then I decide, okay, actually, I've now got I can use my mobility at last. I've got a free path, and the Hetzer's looking at me, but I'm a target on the move. He's got the derp gun, so I fancy my chances. That's enough of a distraction for our artillery, and that Hetzer wasn't moving. He was sat there trying to get me, and I dodged some shots, and I've basically broken free of any possibility of interception, unless there just happens to be something waiting around here for me. But I've judged that my chances are okay. The biggest threat at the moment is actually the enemy Matilda. The M8A1 is he's moving up a bit as well, but nothing like as far as I am. But this is the point where I suddenly thought, okay, actually 8-7, I've actually got a chance to use my mobility. I've got free range now, and I felt at this point like I might actually be able to spur the team on to actually be enough of a distraction to the enemy team, maybe do some crucial damage, that I can help our team towards victory. And haha, there's the last remaining Hetzer, very low health. Bam. Okay, and that Matilda, if he is obliging, I might be able to track him, but his turret's turning in my direction, so let's maybe fall back. However, my spotting him means that our team can shoot him, which is a very good thing, because he is the most dangerous unit remaining on the enemy team. The AMX-40 also potentially might be problematic. Whoa! That was close. The AMX-40 might be problematic, depends how well driven he is. The DW2, if he's got the top gun, it's a slow tank, but you know, it can still hurt a Stuart. That's not really going to be a problem. I did, well, heat shells on, yeah, firing heat at the side of the Matilda, no, that would just be silly. So, that Matilda's down. That is fantastic news. I decide, okay, I'm going to try and, I'm basically going to try and get around behind the cap. I'm going to see if there's any artillery up in the northwest corner, and if they're not there, then they'll be on the hill, so I will try that. The Marder 2 is, well, the Marder, the AMX, and the DW2 are all a concern, and you didn't just see that. And there's the Marder 2, but the I can. The Marder has got the most accurate gun of all three of them. Artillery would have to be quite lucky to hit me on the move. It could happen, but the DW2, the DW2, and the AMX, I can speak so good, you guys, are both very sluggish, slow tanks, so I can outrun them. I can basically run away unless I get tracked. But I've still got my repair kit, so I fancy my chances. The rest of the team is now attacking because we have an advantage in numbers. There's the Vespa. There's the DW2. Wow, that camping. Okay, you're that thing in a tier 4 battle, which is like dream matchmaking for any tier 4 being top tier. And oh my word, there's the AMX-40 as well. Okay, well this suddenly got a hell of a lot easier. The DW2 is actually in the game. I spotted both arties as well, and they're both dead. So our lead was thanking me for that. The DW2 is actually in the game at least. He was just camping at the back. And I think he must have been stock because he bounced on my rear armour. Or actually, it might have been my gun mantler. He might have bounced on my gun mantler, but even so. Yeah, that was some hardcore camping. The AMX-40 isn't even there, he's just AFK, so yeah, this battle just got a whole lot easier. Basically, the 3/4 of the remaining, or 2/3 rather, of the remaining tanks that were a threat, only one of them was actually alive and awake and doing something, and one was totally AFK and the other was just cowering at the back of the map. Maybe because they are very, very new to the game and don't have a clue what they're doing yet, but even so, if that's what you think World of Tanks is, hiding on the back line behind the cap, yeah, you're not going to do so well. So, yeah, let's see how I did. I think if I didn't have my ace tanker badge already, that might have been it, but I did have that in the Stuart in a regular scout matchmaking battle. So yeah, even so, I got patrol duty out of that, which is I think a first for my M5 Stuart. I don't have it on that many tanks. The damage count 600. I was surpassed by the friendly Stuart, who's actually got a better gun. Our artillery did almost as well, and our Hetzer did almost as well. The Panzer 2G also wasn't too far behind, so there was a good spread of damage along the top half of the team. I actually showed you the score of the enemy M5A1 Stuart, because the reason I did so well in that one is I got 1.08, why don't I just say 1087? 1087 spotting damage. The enemy Stuart actually got nearly that, 1068, which is how he has got second best score on the enemy team with 0 damage. But you'll see there, the enemy team, they didn't do that much damage. It was a low tier massive camp fest, and massive camp fests happen on Redshire every tier, but it's not like this was. I mean, it was kind of a bit seal clubby. Once I got to the point where I could make a break for it, then I think I definitely tipped the game way in our team's favour. That was one where me having several thousand, more than 10,000 battles worth of experience behind me really tipped the balance in that match. But it was just the fact of getting that matchmaking in a Stuart, which is so novel, and also the fact that I did over 5 kilometers driving distance. It was, let's see, 5.36 kilometers. It's probably the furthest I've driven in any of my scout tanks ever. And that it should be in a match like this, well, I don't know. Anyway, if you enjoyed this bit of low tier derpiness, you can hit the like button, you can leave a comment on my video, you can subscribe to my channel, and of course, as always, stay tuned for more.